this being our first time talking to you since the end of the season, and in particular since Tom left, I know you wanted to leave it at the statement, but I'm just curious if you guys had a desire to bring Tom back the coming season.
Yeah, I think that's, a lot of water under the bridge, Mike. And like I said, we're really focused on this season and trying to look at our opportunities and make decisions and plan and prepare to be as competitive as we can be this year. So that's really where our focus is on.
It didn't surprise you at all, him leaving?
Again, I think we've covered all that.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
All right, hi. Let's pick it right back up from where we ended yesterday. That was Bill Belichick in his pre-draft conference call with the media, getting the one question about Tom Brady that he got all day long, and that's how he responded to it. Jim, do you mind if I begin with the email of the day?
Please, go right ahead.
Okay, it's playing off that comment from Bill Belichick yesterday on that conference call. Thus begins the email of the day. The first line in quotation marks. It's water under the bridge. Emailer says, it's water under the bridge? That a-hole really said that? I had to hear it for myself like 3 straight times to get it through my head that overrated, never accomplished jack crap as a head coach until he lucked into the greatest quarterback of all time. That guy said that about the last 20 years of working with said greatest quarterback. What an incredible D-head. What could I use there, Maz, instead of the full
knob?
Knob
yeah,
head.
Tool bag?
No. But give me head. Like,
mushroom head.
Yeah, okay. What an incredible putz.
Richard?
D-head.
Yeah.
What an incredible D-head. Richard. Putz. The emailer says, please, all caps, football gods, I beg you, let him fail. Let this fake wannabe Navy admiral and his my rules, my way or the highway get his my way or the highway ass get exposed and go 5-11 every season that he's got left in the NFL. Do people realize how passive aggressive and vaggy that saying is in this regard? It's water under the bridge. In other words, what's done is done. It's too late and pointless to even consider the past. He was just another Patriot. What a D-head. Without him, you have no championships, and you're floating around on TV sets of all these terrible shows like Get Up and Nana Florio's show as a guest trying to remain relevant. And he has the balls to say he did everything to help him out. That's a cut you'll hear later on today. He has the balls to say that, Matt Lacoste, that bust of a draft pick at wide receiver last year. Nice job, genius. XOXO, Jim and Melrose. Love your show. Can't call in. Hope you enjoyed the email. So that's obviously Big Jim Murray, fully caffeinated this morning when he wakes up at around, like 11:30? You usually wake up, Jim?
We're averaging around 10:30 to 11:30 in that range, yeah.
So the more you thought of it, the more that Belichick comment pissed you off.
Yeah, I mean, we were on until I got knocked off because of the power outage yesterday, and this stuff was coming through, and we were starting to hear it, and I saw some of the clips. I was like, wait, did he say water under the bridge? So I had to hear it.
A lot of water under the bridge.
So I had to hear it, and then I heard it, and I kept listening to it last night. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe this, that Bill Belichick, noted football historian who cares so deeply about the game and its greatest players, essentially treated one of those players, one in which he worked hand in hand with for the last 20 years, and the very best at the most important position, like any other guy. Treated him with a shrug. It's time to move on. I'm happy he's gone. Who's next? It's going to be Stid? Someone I draft? Oh, Stid, because I don't refer to him as Stidham, Jarrett Stidham, or second-year quarterback who I drafted in the 4th round. Stid. Already have the cute nickname for him. Not much offends me. This offended me. How he handled this yesterday, it's offensive.
Disrespectful.
It is.
It is disrespectful. It's a good word.
Yeah, it's disrespectful to Tom Brady, who, again, without him, you have zero success. You're out of the league. You're maybe a consultant, or you're floating around like Rex Ryan. I'm with Rex Ryan and these other coaches now. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got without Tom Brady.
Maz?
Just once. Could he be the bigger man? That's all. And again, this is an easy one. This is as easy as it gets. You're talking about the greatest player in the history of the league. And I told you, as this occurred to me yesterday, I thought, Good God, just once. Could Bill Belichick just take the high road, do the right thing? And I'm not saying that he took the low road. I'm saying, but go out of your way to really give someone his proper due in the first time that you have had to speak about him since he left the organization. And again, it's one thing to say, well, wait a minute. He did it with Seymour. He did it with Mankins. He did it with Lawyer Malloy. He doesn't answer the questions. He issues a statement. Okay, first of all, I would tell you, Tom Brady is different than those guys. Tom Brady's different than everybody. Secondly, and we contrasted this yesterday, and it's worth revisiting, what he said about Jimmy Garoppolo on the day they traded Garoppolo was 10 times more glowing than what he said about Tom Brady yesterday. And that, to me, is sort of the crystallization or the perfect example of how he felt about those two players in the final years. He loved Garoppolo. He couldn't get enough Jimmy. He loved Jimmy. Brady, he couldn't get him out the door fast enough. And this, to me, should be some evidence and some proof of the fact that Bill did not want him back and was happy to see him go.
So I think Bill was true to how he felt about the player at the end. And so I'm not going to get on him for being genuine. I think Bill was genuine here. Genuine D-head, if you want, genuinely disrespectful. But I'm not going to get on someone for being honest. And I think that if he had gone on and on and on and on, that would have been, you know.
Okay, sure, but Mike, Belichick wouldn't give Brady the time of day yesterday, and that is the part that annoyed me. I went and looked it up. I went back and found the press release from the day they traded Garoppolo, and I compared it with the one yesterday. The day they traded Garoppolo, Belichick grabbed the mic, no questions.
Well, no, hold on. Let's just so you heard the Bill response yesterday. Water under the bridge. I think we've already addressed that. Okay, here's the conference call the day after the Jimmy Garoppolo trade. Stacy can't even get the introduction out, I think, before Bill jumps in and starts going off on Jimmy. Right, he literally almost grabs the mic. Go ahead, Jimmy Stewart.
We'll open it up we'll start with Mike Reese.
Let me start first here.
Okay.
Oh, it's just classic.
Thanks.
We've completed the trade papers with San Francisco, and so I'll just make a couple comments on this situation. First of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jimmy. I couldn't ask for him to give us any more than he's given us. And the 49ers are getting a good player, and they're getting a good person, and they're getting a great teammate, and they're getting a good quarterback. And Jimmy's getting a good coach. His career is moving forward. He's a talented individual and was a great person to coach. I met with him weekly, and again, have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But as his career moves forward, we have to look to our team.
All right, so, I mean, do you even need to – you can stop it there. He goes on for how long is the cut, Jimmy?
I have it at 3 minutes, 50 seconds.
Okay. This is what you're driving at, Mass.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, I counted the words, or I had Microsoft Word count the words. 449 words about Jimmy Garoppolo. 449. Jimmy Garoppolo started 2 games for Bill Belichick. 2. Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls, went to 9. He got 57 words yesterday.
Water under the bridge.
57.
Jimmy Garoppolo, tremendous respect. Couldn't have given us any more.
First of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jimmy. I couldn't ask for him to give us any more than he's given us.
I mean, that is something when Maz puts it as he started 2 games for him. And,
2!
And nearly 4 minutes in Bill Belichick time might as well be a half hour.
Meanwhile, Brady, that's water under the bridge.
It would be, of course, impossible to sum up everything Tom did in 20 years into a comment.
So I'm not even going to try.
Then or now.
I can't even go there. He gave me 20 years. I can't give you a comment.
49ers are getting a good player. They're getting a good person. And they're getting a great teammate.
But Jimmy's 2 games?
A good quarterback.
Oh, Jimmy's 2 games? I'll give you 4 minutes.
Right now, we're moving forward. Focus on the draft here.
When is that saying, water under the bridge, ever used as a positive? You only say it when you're like moving on from a job or a relationship you're done with. Water under the bridge. We're ready to move on. That's when you use it. You know, water, it was great. Water under the bridge. You don't use it. That's not how it's used in that context. He's happy to be rid of him.
Oh, look,
water under the bridge.
To me, and again, so Mike, listen, I'm not asking him to lie. Why would it be lying to say nice things about Tom Brady? You don't have to talk about the negotiation. Just how about, hey, look, guys, it didn't work out at the end. We have tremendous respect. I personally respect Tom greatly. On many levels, I'm sorry to see him go, but this is where we are, and now we're going to go ahead with the football team. Just something with a little bit of actual sincerity. So just something with a little bit of actual sincerity and a little humility and a little appreciation. I think that on some level,
what if he's not feeling it right now, Maz? What if he's not feeling it right now?
Too bad.
Fake it.
Why is it faking it to say that he has great respect for Brady?
What if he's not feeling it right now? What if he's not feeling it for him?
If he doesn't feel it, if he can't separate himself that way, Mike, he's petty. Look, at least Brady was able to say, I wouldn't have accomplished what I accomplished without Bill. So not everything that Brady said was a lie or insincere. He didn't talk about the conflict. But do you believe that Brady has great respect for Belichick?
Yeah.
Okay. Why can't Bill say the same thing back?
Yeah.
Say it, not write it in some statement. Say it.
He doesn't want to fake it. He's not feeling it. And neither's Brady, but he can put on the face and talk, fake it.
With as important as the league and the history of the league is to Belichick. I mean, Mike, when you covered him, he wouldn't shut the hell up about those late '80s Giants teams, the '90s Giants, and Lawrence Taylor. He'll talk, for 20 minutes without taking a breath. So say the same thing about Brady, who's meant that much to the game and to you and your success.
He doesn't like him right now. He doesn't like him.
He's a baby. Then he's
water under the bridge.
It's just water under the bridge. Oh my God! But that Garoppolo.
First of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jimmy. I couldn't ask for him to give us any more than he's given us.
He bled out for you, Bill.
He liked Jimmy.
49ers are getting a good player. They're getting a good person.
And
they're getting a great teammate. And they're getting a good quarterback.
And a good quarterback.
Oh my gosh!
But Brady,
his career's moving forward.
Yep.
He's a talented individual. And was a great person to coach. I met with him weekly. Again, have a tremendous amount of respect for him.
But Brady, he's already addressed that in the statement. Don't you understand?
Yeah,
I think that's not water under the bridge.
Oh God, the statement thing, and that's another one. It's like, I'm sorry, statements are personal, they're corporate, they're cold. No matter what the words are that are written, and they can be well written and well constructed, they are cold, they are impersonal, and he'll talk ad nauseum about Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, bring up Jimmy, and he sounds like he's freaking Winston Churchill. All of a sudden, you can't get the guy to shut up, and he'll go on and on and on. But Brady's name comes up now, Stonewall Jackson there in Foxborough. That's what you get.
Right now,
Stonewall.
We're moving forward. Focus on the draft here.
That's it. It's water under the bridge. So, question to you, Boston. After listening it, do you agree with our emailer, Jim and Melrose, even more? You want Bill to lose even more? After hearing that, after hearing Bill's disrespect for Brady, do you want Bill to fall on his face even more? Do you feel that way, Maz?
No, look, I because unlike him, I'm not that petty. So I look at him and say, no, listen, you're a great coach. Absolutely. Go on. I'm just talking. He cannot bring himself to just throw a little love at Brady. This supports the notion that he was not showing Brady, and I'm not telling you that it's right. I'm just telling you that the Brady camp saying that Bill needed to show more appreciation, I'm starting to think they were right.
Okay, your thoughts.
At the start of free agency, I made a statement about Tom.
That was part of his opening statement, Murray. That wasn't enough for you? That wasn't good enough?
No, I don't think I'm reading too much into it. I even think that there's an air of annoyance. Because you know how he is, like, it's time to move on. It's always time to move on. It's on to Cincinnati. And he's treating this situation just like that. And when he says, and I'm sure, like, I feel like I can hear him rolling his eyes saying, and I'm sure we'll be talking about him for years and decades to come. But right now, it's time to move on, guys. Like, water under the bridge. We're past that. I'm over Tom Brady. Again, without him, I don't have these Super Bowl championships. The only ones I would have is me glomming on as the defensive coordinator of the Giants under Parcells' shadow. Other than that, without him, I have nothing. But it's time to move on. I'm sure we'll be talking about him for years and decades to come. But now it's Stid's turn. Let's talk about Stid. Man, I love Stid. I even gave him a cute nickname. Let's talk Stid. Okay, guys? That's all we're talking about now.
I think it's in character, and at least it's not phony. I think I don't think Bill's feeling it right now with Brady. So, what, he should put on airs? I mean, no, he should. I understand what you're saying, Maz. But, I live by a very simple, rule, and that is you shouldn't get in trouble for being honest. And if he's just sort of being honest, then, well, I'll take it. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry, just quickly, let's not forget, too, Mike, that when Belichick issued the statement on Brady's departure, there was that line in there, too, like, despite what happened at the end. What? That you didn't get your way? Or that you didn't win the negotiation? Or what? Like, I just feel like he can never just tip his cap and move on.
I think he meant despite Brady sucking. I think that line that was a great line, despite the way it ended, and nothing can take away from Brady. Yeah, despite the fact that he put in less at the end and wasn't the same guy, nothing can take away from it. All right, folks, so what do you think?
Water under the bridge.
It is just water under the bridge, Bill. Disrespectful to Tom. You want Bill to lose even more now? The statement didn't do it for you either, Murray. How come the statement doesn't count?
Because like Maz said, any statement that comes out from any corporation or any team or any coach is just boilerplate. Like, I need to hear it. I need you to tell me. You can write anything in a statement and make it. What, I'm supposed to take that as gospel? I think any statement that comes out is a crock.
Yeah, and why didn't he just issue a statement on the Garoppolo trade?
Right.
Why didn't he just, the day they traded Garoppolo, he could have just said, guys, I know you're going to ask me about some stuff. We'll have a statement on the transaction later. In the interim, I'm here to talk about this week's game. Why didn't he do that?
Because he likes Jimmy.
We'll open it up.
Exactly.
We'll start with Mike Reese.
Let me start first here.
He couldn't grab the mic fast enough when he traded Jimmy. When Brady's gone, the greatest of all time walks out the door. Water under the bridge.
First of all, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jimmy. I couldn't ask for him to give us any more than he's given us.
Classic. Mary Manchester, what do you think?
I totally agree with Jim. I think it was very disrespectful, Mike. And actually, Maz touched on it, too. I think that he was also bugged. And don't forget that he did lose in the negotiation here. He thought Brady was going to be back. He might not have wanted him back, but he thought at least for a year he was going to have Brady and that he was never going to choose Tampa Bay over the Patriots. So there was a little bit of an air of just being irritated with Brady as well. And one other thing, he could have taken credit for Brady the way he did for Garoppolo, because when he discovered him, he knew Brady when he was a kid, 24 years old or whatever. So he cultivated that, Brady. So I think that he could have taken credit for that and said, I knew he was special when I first saw him. And, he could have sort of elaborated on that and taken credit for it. He didn't. So there's something there. It is like a marriage gone bad. It really is.
So, yeah, I think that's for sure. But I think
he's annoyed that he lost at the negotiating table, or that Brady didn't capitulate. Like, he's taking these bad deals time and time again, and at this age, I know he'll be back, and it didn't go his way, and so he got butthurt about it.
So that's what it is. Is he not annoyed that he has to talk about Tom Brady? It's annoyed that he lost.
I think but 70-30. I think it's 70% that he lost and 30% that he has to still talk about him now, because now he's gone, and when you're gone and moved on, you're essentially dead to Bill Belichick.
Water under the bridge.
I just don't understand why the laws of professional etiquette or professional decency don't apply to him. I just don't understand that. I mean, we're so desensitized to how much of an a-hole he can be that nobody bats an eye when he brushes this off. This is the greatest player in the history of the league. And the extent of his verbal statement about what the player meant to the franchise after Brady left was 57 words. 57 words. He all but undressed when Jimmy Garoppolo left town, but for Brady, it was 57 words. You would think that a guy that has accomplished what he has accomplished wouldn't be petty over something like that, but he is.
Maybe a lot petty.
And he's got to move on to what? They don't open until September. There's nothing to move on to at the moment. This isn't we're on to Cincinnati. So don't defend the guy. I just think it's petty. It's childish. He's a bad loser. He's always been a bad loser. And again, it's one thing to apply the rules of a statement to players that come through, even if they're great players and Hall of Famers or borderline Hall of Famers, whether it be Seymour or Mankins or Malloy. Fine. You want to do it your way because you believe that that's what the system is? Great. But Brady.
So, Maz, what if he feels about him the same way he did about Mankins, Seymour, Lawyer Malloy on the way out the door? What if that's just the way he feels about him?
Well, he's wrong because he's not every other Patriot. I'm sorry to cut you off, Maz.
No, go, Murray.
But that's what, come on. This is a special case for a special player. This isn't every other guy. And some of those guys are special too, like Seymour, but please stop it.
Bill's the coach. Bill wants to hold the team to a standard and hold a level of accountability, except when it's time for him, he doesn't want to be accountable.
Jarrett Stidham, what was your impression of him during his rookie season? And do you feel like you have a good grasp on him as a player, even though he's only thrown 4 passes in a regular season game?
Yeah, well, we spent, multiple, quite a bit of time with both Brian and Stid. And, I think we have a pretty, Josh and myself certainly have a pretty good feel for both those players. Circumstances will be different this year, and we'll see how everything plays out. But again, to start with, I think the main thing is to give everyone a chance to compete, to get people comfortable with the position and the skills that they're playing, the communication that's involved. We'll evaluate the players as we get an opportunity to evaluate them.
Okay, more from Bill yesterday. Murray, it bothers you even when you hear Bill Belichick call him Stid, doesn't it?
It does, because it's a nickname, and a nickname is a term of endearment. And when you use a nickname, that means you have affection for that person. We all know that. And so he's already calling him Stid. He was last year. Like, what's he accomplished? So they see something, him and Josh McDaniels obviously see something in the kid, and they have a feeling for him, or at least Bill does. Just feels fast to me. He was so quick to move on from the wife that brought him the 6 titles and did so much for him, but he got sick of his ass, and he didn't capitulate to the bad deal he put in front of him again, so he left his ass. So now he's on to the new hot thing, wasn't done a damn thing, but he likes him because he's new, and he can mold him into what he wants.
You know what? Murray, you think it's bad now? Wait till he starts 2 games like Garoppolo did. He'll be taking his clothes off for him,
right.
too.
Maz, what is, if anyone calls Tom Brady by a nickname, what is it?
The GOAT.
No, Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah, I would say Tommy.
Tommy. Yeah. Like Pioli and Weiss, and his kids from his circle, like Tommy. It's that's. Have you ever once heard Bill call him Tommy?
No.
I've never once. And you can say, okay, he's a dick, but you could also say, well, that's kind of in keeping with who he is and what he is and how he's run it for 20 years. And at least there's a consistency there. And it does speak to how he runs the program. No one, I was going to say no one's bigger than the team. No one gets the nickname, but that's not true because Jimmy and Stid got the nicknames. But Tommy doesn't. I mean, I just think that's sort of telling. Another tiny little example there.
So look, again, Mike, the thing that makes this all striking is what he did when Garoppolo was traded. That's really the departure. So he clearly had strong feelings for Garoppolo. But then the greatest quarterback in the history of the league, the greatest player
who Bill
in
thinks
the history of the league,
who Bill thinks is overrated,
and he's gonna just put him. He's gonna give him less praise than he gave Jimmy Garoppolo. The words coming out of his mouth, as opposed to somebody typing up some sort of statement and putting it on a piece of paper.
He's a cold-blooded CEO. Just stick with that. Try and be consistent.
Yeah, until he trades Garoppolo, and then he takes, and then he's boobs out in the Bahamas, for crying out loud. I'm sorry. The Belichick Bobos are this is what they're gonna do. Yeah, this is what Bill is. He does it with everybody. No, not everybody.
It's not.
No. The day he traded Jimmy G, he all but covered himself in butter.
He always speaks better of players who are traded or retire than he does of players who choose to leave. Or you're going to leave me?
I'm curious. You mentioned, it's a pretty interesting quarterback class. And obviously there's only one Brady. But I'm curious, how willing do you feel like you and your staff will need to be moving forward when it comes to that position and maybe altering your offense a little bit? It does feel like there are more athletes sort of coming into the league year after year, different styles of quarterbacks. And I'm just curious how important you think that is to be open to changing this thing that you've built for 2 decades with, one guy primarily playing the majority of the snaps there.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly, Phil, just I couldn't agree with you more in terms of over the last 2 decades, everything we did, every single decision we made in terms of major planning was, made with the idea how to make things best for Tom Brady.
Now this isn't what I'm referring to by him being defensive and petty, but this is a little closer to it. Or a little bit more of an answer, a direct answer perhaps to that big complaint from the Brady side that they didn't do anything to surround him, right? They didn't do anything to surround him with talent, and that's Bill sort of pushing back and saying everything we did was to help Tom Brady. But how out of character is that comment? Because if you ask him in real time, Maz, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? His answer is always,
do what's best for the team.
Best for the team. Exactly. Best for the team. Best for the team. It's all about best for the team. It's what's ever best for the team. It's what's ever best for the team. After Brady leaves, he turns around and says, yep, you're right. For the last 2 decades, everything we did was to put Tom Brady in the best position. And
everything we did, every single decision we made was, made with the idea how to make things best for Tom Brady.
Okay, that's a little passive aggressive. That is, what a martyr. So you weren't doing what was best for you were hamstrung into doing what was best for Tom Brady.
I mean, to me, just quickly, I think the comment was disingenuous. So it's one thing to say, look, we tried to put pieces around Tom that emphasize his strengths. Everything we did was for Tom Brady? What? Since when? No. Everything they did was because they exploited Tom Brady's talent. And I'm not saying they're wrong to do that. But because of Brady's skill set, they were able to cut corners in some places and get away with it and emphasize other areas that maybe were weaker because Brady could pick up the slack. That's what happened.
This comment actually goes on, Jimmy. Why don't you just pick it up if you don't mind?
Now, that being said, we've had several situations where we had to play, and we knew Tom wasn't going to be the quarterback, so that would go back to Castle and Jimmy and Jacoby and situations like that. And so in those situations, now they were in season, although Matt's Castle situation ended up being for 15 games. But whatever those situations were, we adapted what we had to the player and tried to Castle would be a good example. We geared everything towards, doing what was best for him, just like we always geared everything for doing what was best for Tom and to help our offense there. So I don't really see that changing. Whoever the quarterback is will try to make it as make things work smoothly and efficiently for that player and take advantage of his strengths and his skills. And each of us has different skills. Each quarterback has a different skill set, and whatever things that particular player, does well, we'll try to work towards and feature, or at least give him an opportunity to do those. And the things that either doesn't do well or needs more experience out, or whatever the case might be, then we'll try to, minimize or until those improve, work around them. So I don't see it being any different than the process and what it's ever been. It's just, we know the situation we're in now. It's different than the year, when we had to plan to play 4 games without Tom at the start of the season, but he would be back after that. This is, a little bit different than that, but it's along the same lines as we get whoever is the quarterback ready.